wish to let you know that this press conference is being live streamed so that our friends in media and our other film lovers can also view this remotely. Today we have among us Alias. He is director and actor of the film Basima's Home. Maxine Denise, she is the actress of the film and she has played the role of Basima. Nicole Lagarde, she is the actress of the film. I welcome you all. And from the film Loonies, we have lead actress Alicia Staksivit and actor Lake Matskivit. I wish to let you know that they are husband and wife.
No.
Welcome once again. We have posters of this film that are being displayed on the TV screens, and I will briefly introduce about the films to our audience now. In the film Loonies, Eric and Karolka are a pair of dreamers. Upon the release from prison, they opt to forge a new, law-abiding life in the tranquility of nature to avoid further conflict with the law. Eric is also determined to secure happiness for his young daughter, Zisika, whom he retrieves from her grandfather. Together with Karolka, they embark on a journey across the Poland. Complications arises when Karolka falls seriously ill, and the only hope for her recovery lies in an expensive treatment which they cannot afford. About the film Basima's Womb, when her illegal husband is deported from Canada, Basima, a young Syrian woman, finds herself in a difficult situation both socially and financially. Desperately looking for a way to bring her husband back, she agrees to become a surrogate mother in exchange for a false passport. However, she soon finds out that she is already pregnant and must give up her own child. So these are the tragic story of this film, both of this film. And now I'll start with Basima's Womb, the director and actor, for his opening remarks about film.
So what is the question? Sorry.
Opening remarks about your film, what the story is, the direction, your role, your other cast. You can talk about the film.
Yeah. Listen, I had I saw a documentary.
Yes.
Actually, it was in India, and showing that there are many women that are actually doing that. It means getting pregnant and giving their babies.
Yes.
And that's the base actually of my movie. So it gives me an idea to build something, and since we have lots of immigrants in Canada, it's a very mixed society. So maybe I can come up with a story that would say, and it was during the war in Syria. So I based it in Canada, but Syrian couple that comes here. And this is how the story came out.
Thank you. Maxine Denise, your role about in the film and the emotion you felt in the film while doing this immigrant's role. Can you please talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, you heard it from the synopsis. It's definitely an intense story. It's painful at times, for sure. And I think playing Basima as a young woman, the way I saw it from my point of view, and I mean everybody's point of view is their own, but for my side, it was very much. I sort of saw this girl as a young woman who wants a lot. And I think that's something a lot of women can relate to, being someone with hopes and desires. And so I think the way I played this girl was very much putting her in the shoes of any other girl. She's not necessarily illegal. She's not, someone foreign. She's not, this like extra creature. I just looked at her as like any other young woman going through any other young woman's story. So I think when you go into something like that, you play a character like that, you really get to experience different things in terms of like where your heart goes. So that was really how I dived into Basima.
Thank you. Nicole,
Yes.
about your role and your idea about the film, the story.
Absolutely. First, I'd like to say about the film that I really think it's one woman, two women's journey. It's a personal journey, whether it touches the immigration, the women's right situation. It's really one story. There's many other stories like that. It's not a judgment of any sorts. I think it's just a personal journey. And as for my character, José, that I actually adore, who has so many scars, and a desire to repair, to repair, absolutely, because I had the fortune actually to play the antagonist, really a multi-layer character, and not trying to please. That was really important for me, but really to work at what is she aiming for, what's her objective, that are very personal, and of course that touched me deeply as she was aiming to make sure her sister gets a bit. And so that was what was really dearing to her. I love to transform when I go on set. I work very hard prior to be available when I meet the director and my partners. And that's my craft.
Thank you. Lake,
Yes.
opening remarks about your film.
Well, I'm here more or less on behalf of Jana Jakuba, who's the director and the producer of the film. And the film Lunis, which is starring this lovely lady sitting on my left, Alicja Stasiewicz, I call it an affirmation of love, generally speaking. Two outcasts coming out of prison who try to fit into the world that is not that friendly around them, and set off on a journey in a stolen car, of course. On a journey through their lives and through Poland, trying to find the new beginning, which is not really coming because the character of Karolka falls very ill with cancer, bone cancer, marrow cancer, and therefore the other character, her husband, has to set off on another journey to find finances to finance her curation. Generally speaking, it is about love. It is about people who are being spat out about society, but nevertheless find that most important force in our lives, which is love.
Alicia, about your role and about your views on the film.
Okay, so there are so many details which are hard to translate in my head, so I will use my Polish language and Lech will translate, if you don't mind. Rola Karolki. To była hollywoodzka przygoda, dlatego że do przygotowania się do tej roli musiałam się bardzo zmienić fizycznie, czyli obciąć włosy i schudnąć i nauczyć się zachowań bardzo chorej osoby.
So it was a Hollywood-like adventure for Alicja, which is not doesn't happen very often in Polish cinema. She had to change quite dramatically physically, apart from cutting her hair very short for the prison sequence, and afterwards she had to lose a lot of weight and change her figure altogether, plus go through the stages of sickness, which is, something that you don't do very often in small budget movies when you prepare. So that was the first experience like that for Alicja.
I każda scena, którą gra Karolka, jest bardzo trudna, bo to są sceny, kiedy wychodzi z więzienia, kiedy jest nieszczęśliwa, kiedy jest zdradzona, kiedy jest chora i boryka się ze swoimi problemami zdrowotnymi.
And basically all the scenes that Karolka is involved in are very highly charged emotionally. They are very difficult, therefore, because it's like leaving the prison, learning that she's sick, being betrayed by her husband, and learning that her husband has a child from the former. It's like one after another she discovers bad things about her life, and she said that journey was quite taxing.
Ale tak naprawdę, że to jest wspaniała postać i czasami ludzie o projekcji mówią, że ona jest niedobra, albo że ciężko ulubić, ale mi się wydaje, że to jest wspaniała, wrażliwa, delikatna, kochana dziewczyna, która jest postawiona w takiej życiowej, trudnej sytuacji.
And Alicia learned to love Karolka, the character of Karolka, and she thinks she's a very lovable character, even though sometimes after the film projections and in interviews, people say she's hard to like because she's life has toughened her, and she has to be tough in order to survive. But otherwise, she's very sensible, she's fantastic, and she's beautiful.
Beautiful. I didn't say so.
Now I have two questions regarding the music of the film, for the both of the film. First I will ask Babek, why there is no music in this film?
This is a good question. I don't know. I just feel that when I put music in my movies, actually it's my second feature film. The first one didn't have music also. I kind of tend to hide something. It's like I'm hiding, or I'm trying to manipulate the audience. This is something I don't want to do. So far, I wasn't successful into putting music in my movies. I'm trying with the next one, at least to try. But this manipulation of the audience with the music, saying, oh, this is where you have to cry, and this is where you have to. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to successfully do it. So,
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's artistic choice.
Yeah, maybe it's an artistic
I
choice.
think so.
But
And I think it takes a lot of courage to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is easier to put music and say this is how this flow of the story is going. I think it's pushing the boundaries a little bit when you try something like that. I mean, that's what film is about.
yeah, but at the same time, it has a kind of austerity, right?
Exactly.
Because you ask the audience to be patient enough. And sometimes music and things help. I realize myself, when I watch things. But at the same time, it's I don't know, it's a trick that I don't want to use, or wasn't successful to use it so far.
I'd like to add though, and I would love to see your film if it's in the same idea of not having this background of music. First, it takes a lot of courage today, where everything is already, a certain way. But I think watching myself in that film with no music,
Yeah.
it was creating a tension that actually was really beneficial for the characters, which I didn't thought at the beginning. I was so scared. but it does create a tension, and I salute that.
That's actually very good, Babek, because you are true to yourself, true to the audience, and you bring kind of authenticity. It's a very nice thing actually.
It's right. We are responsible, right? In front of our audience. Yeah.
And Lek, can you talk about the lyrics of the song in your movie?
Jan Kolskieco, who directed the film, wrote all the lyrics for the songs, so they are integral part of the film, quite opposite to what you've done. He decided that music is important. He chose very unusual choice for his, I know his work from the very beginning, and he never used rap music, and this time round, he wrote his own lyrics, and he asked a specific performer to perform the songs for the film, and they complement the story. And the main characters are singing the song, so they are going. Well, they are off screen, of course. They don't sing on screen, but we hear their voices. He is singing the songs that add to the story, complement the story. It's about their emotional state at that very moment, which sometimes you think that it's a music narration kind of thing. It's a tricky device to push the plot forward, but it does work, I believe. And it's combined at the same time with a very specific camera work, because usually they come in when they use this. There was a special camera brought from South Korea, which was shooting one day. That translated into 1 minute of film time, and it was this slow motion, you think it was sped up time. And it was quite tricky. Cam lapse? time lapse. You see, so you saw the characters acting in a normal time, but around them the world was going 24 hours, and it was tricky. And that's when we heard their voices singing. Yeah.
Thank you. Maxine, why this film is bilingual in French and Arabic?
Yeah, I mean, speaking of why, it would be him. He would know the why he chose to do that. But in terms of tackling a bilingual film, I think it was really fun because I'm quadrilingual, I speak 4 languages, and getting a chance to speak in French and I mean, I grew up with those languages, and so I found it really cool to be able to play a character, you know, living in Canada that's also Middle Eastern. So I got to really play with 2 sides of my cultures and mix them into this girl, and I thought that was really, really fun. And I got to learn a different accent because I speak with a Lebanese accent in Arabic, and she was Syrian, so that was really great. And I think it's a story that's important to be told because in Montreal and in many countries, I mean, here included, there are so many languages, so many. And so to be able to make movies nowadays that aren't just one language because of the, you know, the change in the cinema world where you're able to sort of push those boundaries a little bit more, you can finally tell stories that are very real like that, where you've got more than one language in it. We've even got a couple sentences in English, so it's technically 3 languages are mentioned in this movie. And I think that's really great.
I just want to add that it was really a challenge to find her. You have to understand that I was looking for somebody who speaks Arabic fluently and French. Basically, the person was looking for many months. I had 7 offers only. And among those 7 actresses, 4 of them were kind of like beginners. 2 of them was second-generation immigrants, so they hardly, you know, speak correctly Arabic. So you see the challenge, and I feel really, really lucky to have found her. Really lucky.
With this, now I'll open the question for the floor. You can ask question. Cast and crew of the films. Please.
Hi, Babek.
Sir, continue.
Hi, Babek. You, on the opening note, you said that you have been inspired by the Indian incidents of surrogacy.
Yes.
So, did you happen to see a film called Mimi because it was based on surrogacy? It's an Indian film.
Maybe I saw this one many years ago, right?
No. This is a very recent film, like 2 years back.
No, then.
Okay.
No, many, right?
Mimi. M-I-M-I.
M-I, Mimi.
Yeah.
And it's a movie, like not a documentary.
It's a movie.
Okay.
It's a feature, and it's about a young girl, like one of the top actresses in India, and she plays the surrogate.
Oh, I'd love to check it out.
I would definitely check it out.
Okay, thank you. So, Maxine, how difficult it was for you to prepare for the role?
Honestly, there were a lot of things that were challenging. First of all, this was my first French movie. I am primarily an English actress, so it was definitely a challenge to do an entire film in French. And adding the fact that I had to take on a Syrian accent, so it was like, my brain was in a lot of places, I would put it that way. And it was minus 30 in Canada. Like, there was so many things that were going on. It was a lot. And it was interesting because, you know, this was my second film I've ever done. And so my other one was a lot more sort of, I want to say, you know, the typical way of making a movie. Whereas this one was a lot more avant-garde in a way. Like, Babek really taught me to slow down, take a different approach to being an actor, which was really interesting to me. So I think what I did to prepare for the character was just let myself trust that I would be able to play this on set, because there were so many factors that if I could feel it, I was like, if I let anything hit me, nothing would absorb. I wouldn't be able to play this character. So I started to look at it like I'm like water. So it's like anything that comes, I gotta just take it in and let it go. And so I think the pre-prep was just really studying the script and what it's like. I watched a few documentaries on the war in Syria. I watched a few documentaries on being surrogate mothers. I did a little bit of that research, but in terms of like the emotionality, I just had to trust myself. I think that's where I went with it. And it was great to be able to work with great actors like Nico and even all the other actors in the film. They were really, really strong. So it was easy for me to just, okay, well, I can just listen and just do what I'm doing by listening to what they're giving me. So that always helps. Yeah.
I also wanted to add something about Nico, because in Quebec, of course, you know, being a white woman, French, it's you have many offers, and I choose them very differently. For Nico, I went really for her heart, and I didn't, you know, I didn't ask Nico, you know, to play something, and we had this conversation, and I said, okay, I said to my wife, you know, I want her, you know, and that's it. And actually, it paid off, right? During the filming, because I said, okay, this is she was able to give all the emotion. Quite, I don't know, it was easy, but at least I got what I wanted.
Any other question? Please.
So Nicole, the film is based on her character, Maxine's character. In India, we have actresses like not taking up the secondary role.
Oh.
So how was it for you as an actress to be a part of this movie, and what was your approach?
Well, I did work in a laundromat for a few days. That was funny. Then you go over it and you understand it's not going to be the same. You have to make it your own. But I like to do those kind of things. I didn't approach it as a second role. For me, she unraveled the story. As she provokes things, she needs something, she'll get it. So any role actually I approach like that. I don't mind. I like to do my craft. So this is what I do. Yeah, I do work a lot ahead. One thing I'd love to say is in Montreal or in Quebec, when we shoot film, it's around 21 days. So the reality on set is super fast. So that's why I prep a lot. So I have all those options when I come on stage. 21 days, you know, so anything can happen on set, right?
I've done a
Super.
13-day set,
13 days.
full
So-
feature film as a
so-
lead. They push.
Yeah, so that brings the reality of what you're capable of giving on set in a snapshot.
Yep.
If there's a light problem, it's gonna, you know, it's time taking.
And then it takes from your takes.
Yes.
So it's like if there's an external problem, the actors somewhat suffer because it's like we get 1 or 2 takes, and if you're not on point in those 1 or 2 takes, you suffer.
Yeah.
The movie when it's out, they're not like there must have been a lighting problem and the time was bad and their scheduling was off, so that's why they did a bad job. You know, like you don't see that stuff. It's all behind the scenes. You only see what's been put in the cinema, in the film. So.
And I would add on that in Babek's process, he really valued one takes, one shot, no counterpoint, which created also a lot of tension for us. Like, okay, this is going to happen now, and we'll live with it. So that was also provoking and interesting. Because, like, there's no coming back. You do a take, you're holding the counter, and you're not going to get your second shot, so you've got to give it now. So that's very...
Plus the winter, of course, it was also a challenge, right? Especially in Canada, so you have less daylight and things.
Yeah, true.
But you know, it's a control chaos, basically. You know, every shooting is control.
I understand you had some more time for rehearsals. You had to spend some time rehearsing the shots.
Not that much.
Not really.
No.
A bit before filming, we had like 2-3 days where we
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
just practiced some scenes
I
together.
remember we had one encounter, the 3 of us.
Was it just
together.
one?
Yeah.
Oh, it might have been just one. I might be mixing my
Yeah, no,
movies.
there weren't that many.
That was
Yeah, and then we would rehearse the scene before shooting a couple times, so even camera would know. Like that's very basic stuff, just basic run through the scene. But it was a bit of on the day sort of troubleshooting and figuring out. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other question from the audience?
That was a very
Right,
rushing
please.
process.
Mhm.
You don't have a second chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations to all of you on your films. My question is to Alicia. So you spoke about your fondness for the character you've played for Karolka, and you spoke about the qualities that endeared the character to you, irrespective of the audience viewpoints. So I wanted to know what does it take emotionally to sort of interweave your emotions with the character to play it, and how difficult then does it get to extricate yourself from that, especially for a movie which is intense on so many levels and deals with difficult subject matter which is not light in any way. What is the kind of emotional preparation that you go through and the outcome of it once the shooting is done and you have to step out?
Okej. Czyli jak po prostu robicie emocje?
Jaka scena?
Okej, to wydaje mi się, że bardzo dużą rzeczą jest to, że w Polsce mamy etaty w teatrze i nie wiem jak jest na całym świecie, wiem, że nie wszędzie tak jest, albo może wyjątkowo to jest w Polsce albo w krajach Europy Wschodniej, że mamy etaty w teatrze i jestem bardzo dobrze przygotowaną aktorką teatralną, pracuję już na etacie od 11 lat i potrafię wchodzić i wychodzić ze swojej roli bardzo dobrze, bo robię to codziennie prawie.
I mean, the first thing which is worth knowing is that in Poland the theatrical system is such as we have full-time jobs as actors performing 6 nights a week all year long. So we do work as actors, if we are actors, all the time. And therefore, because it's a repertory theater, we do have, let's say, 10 shows in ourselves that we perform, or more, that we have to perform throughout the season. The season is a full year. So every weekend, every week you change the part, you play a different part, you come back. So that prepares you very well to the situation in which you have to jump into the role and get out of it. And so Alicia says, I've been very well prepared being for the 11th year running the full-time actress with the theater company. That prepared her really well into delving into the character and getting out of it. So, but
I to, że miałam możliwość jakby zrobienia nie czegoś podobnego, ale że grałam rolę, która też była dla mnie bardzo trudna. To był monodram, który sama sobie wybrałam i który grałam i który nauczył mnie wchodzić głęboko w takie ciężkie, stare postaci i tak samo z niej wychodzić. A poza tym tak, okej.
And just before a few months before the shooting of the film started, she opened a play, one-woman play, that required that was set in prison, as a matter of fact, about a young Russian girl who commits crime, and that was very taxing, and it was requiring from her a very deep dive into the dark side of the character, and that was happening every night when she was performing. So, in a way, she had that advantage before jumping into that role.
I jeszcze chciałam powiedzieć to, że a jaki jest tego koszt? Nie wiem, no to mi się wydaje, że to okaże się po wielu latach, jaki jest tego koszt. Jakby na razie potrafię to robić i potrafię tak wychodzić jakby z tego bez alkoholu, po prostu kończę spektakl i wychodzę z tej roli i jakby nie czuję odciśniętego tego piętna na sobie póki co. Nie wiem jak to będzie za bardzo wiele lat, ale na razie to jest coś, co naturalnie potrafię, skończąc spektakl czy film, wracam do rodziny i potrafię wyłączyć się z tego, że nie zostaje to we mnie.
I think, and she believes that the costs she will be counting later on when all these things, because it's life is very intensive right now, and the performing and everything, and the costs will come, and she doesn't know how to assess them at this very particular moment, because now she can finish her job at night, get off the set, or finish the performance at the theater, and come back. She's got a family, and she can, for the time being, she can separate the private life from work. But as you know, we are family. It is taxing, and I know the costs probably more than she does. I know but she keeps it. She holds it all together very well. The family says, "Yeah, we noticed."
Thank you.
Babak,
Yes.
can you compare Canadian and Indian cinema? How they are alike or how they are different? And what we can learn from each other?
Oh wow.
Good question.
Do we have the time or? You know, we have this cliche, right, about Indian film, because is all Bollywood and things. And actually, I had an interview just this morning with a person with disability, and she interviewed me for the same question because she wants to promote, disability here. She asked, we need more filmmakers with disabilities to tell their own stories. In Canada, we just open. Canada is a mixed country. There are lots of Indians actually in Brampton, for example. I live in Toronto right now, but lots of people, lots of Indians there. My friend Jagesh is there, and talk about India a lot. Anyway, so it's different. I think the perspective, the things, everything different. We don't make in Quebec. We don't make that many feature films. I think there's 30 every year. Here you have thousands. I think there's something we can learn from each other. I think definitely. For that, we need maybe to start more co-productions. The problem a little bit with co-production is you cannot get financing in Canada if the story only in Canada or only in India. So the characters has to travel and all those things. Other than that, is really starting promoting more artistic things, less commercial. I think in India you have probably a lot commercial, and other movies are a bit hidden. But things are maybe changing, I think. And it's not AI that will change things, it's people that will change. This is my
Lake, same question for you.
Well, I'll start. I have two things I'd like to say just before I delve into that. First of all, I want to say that as I was looking in my mind, I had this situation years and years ago, and I shared a table with Robert Lepage. You probably know Robert Lepage, the theater director, and it happened in Japan during the theater in Glia. But that was my first Canadian encounter, and the second was with the actor who played the lead. I can't remember his name now, in Jesus at Montreal. The film that really shook my mind and hit me in the heart. I'm not sure if you remember. You know the leading actor in it.
Arthur is the director. It'll come back.
And Robert Lepage was in that film as well. He was also acting in that film. Robert Lepage was also playing a small part in that film.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
that's my, apart from South Park, that's my kind of, and I met him on set in Agnieszka Holland's film Johnny Walking Home, I think. I can't remember, so many years back. And when it comes to Indian cinema, we had with Alicia this plan some years ago, that we would try to find an agent in Bollywood, because we saw some films. You know how you come to know Indian cinema first, on long haul flights, and you see the Indian section there. You open it and you think, yeah, that's colorful, that's epic. We want to be part of it, but we never actually did anything to do it. Now we're in Goa. Maybe somebody out there will see a potential in all of you, all of us. I think I would love the Indian experience. I don't think we have in Poland, in the Polish cinema industry, the potential for such epic filmmaking. The market is too small. The films are being made for the cinema release. They are there for 4 weeks. That's it. Usually, that's the average, I would say. And then after that, the platforms like Netflix or Amazon take over, or Polish couple of VOD and TVP, which is a Polish television, they take over, and it's being distributed by. So the money is not there. We don't have that many people in our country to watch our Polish products, although on Netflix at this stage, because I think the quality of our filmmaking is quite good. There's no complaints there, but the outreach is basically judged by the platforms. No, and the festivals, thank God for festivals, for Goa and other festivals, we can reach out to people and we can meet you guys, and we can be here and share our cultural experiences. But yeah, I think I envy you, Bollywood.
Me too. It's so
I envy that,
colorful.
and I envy the colors of India. We don't have a Polish cinema. Not our film. wariaci loonies are quite colorful, and they have this underlayer of red, which symbolizes love. Yeah, and lots of, but mostly Polish films are grayish in the color, and they are sad. And I must say, I'm not into it. I don't dwell into it. We are preparing a new feature film with Alicia. We'll be shooting it next year, and I promise you it will be colorful. And we'll come back here with a beautiful film full of love and color.
Jeszcze chciałam coś powiedzieć, że przypomniałam się teraz, że kiedy byłam młoda, to filmem mojego życia z Sylwią było Czasem Słońce, Czasem Deszcz. To jest właśnie
When Alicia,
kochałam na maksa, widziałam to mnóstwo razy.
Alicia says that when she was young, the film of her life was sometimes it rains, sometimes sunshine. I can't remember the.
Kabikushi, kabikami.
And that was her favorite film of all times at that stage, and she saw it about 10 times. Yeah. So,
What did she like so much about the film?
O, wtedy wszystko, no był taki kolorowy, piękny, tam były piękne kreacje kobiety i mężczyzny i no tańce, kolory, wszystko.
Basically everything. Colors, the performances of course, the male leading actor, and you name it, she loved it.
Yes,
We have one
my
question.
question, Babik.
Yes.
My name is Praveen. As a director, what is your point of view about Indian cinema?
You know, I'm a cinephile. So, and I think I'm a time in my life where I want to explore again, going back to the film that I love. The problem with film, there are so many now, and they're talking people and, you know, media, things are always talking of the new movies that come out. So you always, you know, late at it, oh no, I should see this one, and the list grows up and grows up. And a few years ago I said, you know, it's so sad, because for example, I haven't seen again Satyajit Ray's movies that I was watching 30 years ago, and I'm in the process of going back. So I can really not answer your question, because I said, no, finish, you know, I don't want new movies again. You know, I have this long list of old movies, maybe the 100 best. I saw recently Dreyer, you know, movies are dead. I want to see Kurosawa's film, I want to see again, you know, Satyajit Ray's movie. So, no, for a couple of years, 2-3 years, I don't want new movies anymore. And also, I have my daughters, one 17 years old and one 14 years old, and I want to educate them with all these old classics. And I'm thankful because we gave them, they go to Waldorf school. I've heard they're Indian also, they know about Waldorf school, they're going to a Waldorf school. So we introduced them very late to media, you know. My daughter, for that's 17 years old, she just got her phone, iPhone. This was her first phone. Usually TV for the 14 years old is once a month. So they're open-minded completely, you know, their mind is clean. And so it's good to introduce, you know, these old black and white movies. Thank you.
Any more question?
Yeah.